Hi, welcome to Hekate's Crossing. If you've never been before, this is your first time, and welcome back if you keep coming back. Thank you very much for supporting me on my journey. I'm so excited. Not very long and we have Tarathon, so I wanted to get this video done, of course. It's now 7:13 PM here on Sunday night, so there's about another 2 hours, maybe just under, before Simon starts. Yahoo! I'm so excited. And the other thing I am very excited is my subscribers. Thank you very much for those that have joined my channel. Thank you for taking the time to comment and to give me feedback and your thoughts and opinions. I love that. Thank you very much for interacting with me. It's exciting. Oh, by the way, for those who don't know me, my name is Paula and I am here in New Zealand, so that's why our time differences, and it's great when I can catch the lives, which has been very exciting. Now I've been doing lots of the VRs, and I did Donna from Ozark Oracle. I did her VR to which court card are you and why, so that was really cool, and I enjoyed watching everybody's responses, and it's been really great. And I love that Diane from Indigo Moon Woman, she did a bit of a twist to it and sort of said which card are you, and sort of looked at what cards have you resonated with on your journey and what cards do you aspire to. So I thought that was really cool. And I had actually watched Madwitch's channel and her VR to Diane about the which card are you, as well as Ozark Oracle's VR to with the which court card are you. So I thought, right, okay, I've got to do it. And I've just had a really busy day with having to get bits and pieces, and ended up chatting and being caught up on YouTube. You know how addictive it gets, and suddenly it's like, oh my god, I've got to get this VR done. So what I did was I really pulled out my decks and I identified with the matriarch of vessels in the Native American tarot. So I'm hoping you can see that quite well. So that's the card I sort of resonated with, and I sort of showed some of the examples from my other decks. So I really aspired to sort of the Queen of Cups because of the emotional aspect I am. And there was a whole lot more into it that I went about how I resonated really with this card and different aspects of it as I went through, even though I look at other essences of other cards as well. So I really pulled out my deck, the Native American Tarot I started with, and just went through and flicked through and had a look at different cards and came up with a few, and I looked at the essence of the card more than just being the woman. So like the whole working with herbs and plants and things like that, and I love the aromatherapy, so of course I resonated with the medicine woman in this card. I thought I sort of really resonated with her along my journey as I've learned, especially at the time that I learned aromatherapy, and I've been working with herbs and things like that, so I thought that was quite cool. And the other one I sort of resonated with was actually the Five of Blades, and that's with working with spirit, working with your higher self, working with the spirit realm on some way. I thought I really resonated with that along my journey as well. And I reckon I sort of really resonated with the Warrior Woman, which is the Five of Vessels in this deck. And the reason why I resonated with this is because I learnt about boundaries, and I learned about having an inner strength that really came from within with some of the challenges that I've been given over the time. So I really resonated with that card on many levels. And of course the Weaver card here, this card here is about what choices you make to create your patterns in life. And I really resonated with that's what I've been learning. That's been a lot about creating boundaries and creating the patterns in my life and what choices I've made. So I really resonated with this card as well. And then you've got this whole Maiden of Shields. Now, this youthful essence is actually about being the deer reminds me about being gentle with self, and that's something that I really had to learn, to not be so harsh and be so critical. And yeah, if I do things a bit different than what others expect of me, that's a-okay. So that's another thing that I sort of learned in my journey. So I've really resonated with that card as well on different levels. And the other one is Grandmother Spider. Now, even though I'm not a grandmother, the Grandmother Spider card, I think this reminds me, or as a spider does, is when she, her web breaks. So she's in the middle of creating something and things don't quite go to plan. She just starts again, or continues doing the best she can to make what's important to her. So I really resonated with that card, and all it comes down to is finding an inner strength. So that's the card I sort of aspire to sort of have that inner strength and that courage to do what I want to do and achieve all that I want to achieve. So I thought that was sort of, when I went back and actually flicked through, I thought that was quite interesting. So I pulled out the Epic Tarot, and I'm going through the cards and having a look, and there's cards that have animals and things like that, and there's lots of cards in here that I resonated at different times with, that really stood out to me, that were quite significant. My 3 children, the Empress card, I really resonated with that. That to me is, I learned so much about having the abundance and how to create the bounty, but also about nurturing my children, but also about nurturing me, not forgetting to nurture who I am as a mother. So I thought that was really, I resonated really well with that card. And also too, and I know this card's got a bit of nudity in it, it's a bit sort of sexual, but as a woman, to embracing my own sexuality, I thought this card really embraces that, to acknowledge that. I thought that was, and that's something that I have learnt over time, and so I really resonated with that aspect of the card, is the whole embracing the sexuality of who I am as an individual, as a woman, and that it's a-okay to have a little pleasure in life. So I thought that was quite important. So I just didn't know quite how to say that. There's a few other cards that I sort of really resonated with. Again, like the Temperance, to me was about, it's okay to have a little luxury in life. It's okay to have good things if that's what you choose to do with your money. That's a lesson that I've learnt, and also about moderation, not to be in excess of things. So that's another one that I've sort of really worked quite deeply with in my journey. And there's just so many cards, and I just sort of know that it's going to take a while. So we've got the High Priestess here, and to me this card was about sitting in silence and connecting with spirit and meditation, and those are aspects of my life that I've found very valuable, which I thought was quite cool, which I sort of really resonated with on many, many levels. So that was something that really spoke loudly to me. And this card here, the 7 of Books, to me is about looking at those beautiful little things in life and seeing the beauty. And that's been a big, big lesson for me, to not focus on the negative aspects, but actually focus on what is beautiful in life. What are the good things? I'm not saying not to acknowledge the bad things, but to also remember the good, which has been quite important. There's a card here. Here we go. Now the Tower card. Now this card here has been a very, very important card in my journey, and that to me was about allowing myself, surrendering to things actually crumbling around me, so that I could rebuild what I needed to make, to allow that enlightenment, that understanding, and actually acknowledging that. So this card was very very pivotal in my journey as I moved through that. And so what I really aspired to was the sense of, this is the World card in the Epic Tarot, and so this was really about this whole sense of allowing myself to acknowledge that I have left behind the old, and to know that I was moving into new adventures. And I think that real understanding is, we can say it, but do we really know it? And I think sometimes we do hold on to the past, and we do take those things into the future with us. So this was a real inspiring card for me. Okay, the last set that I really looked at was the Fairy Light Tarot. As you can see, I sort of went through and found quite a few cards that sort of resonated with me on different levels, and there's just so much in this imagery. I don't know if you've worked with Fairy Light Tarot before, or seen some of the imagery, or you've had a look at some of my readings where they've been on. I love this deck. There's different aspects in here as well, and this was really about, for me, it was about rising above all the aspects, rising above the negative thoughts that I have created within myself. And I'm not talking about dissing them or not acknowledging them, but just rising above them and saying, okay, this is what I've done, this is what I've been through, this is where I'm going, this is what I want to achieve, and actually feel yourself seeing the bigger picture. I felt like that's what this card sort of speaks about. See, this one was about surrendering to the moment, and that's been really hard for me to actually surrender. I always find myself getting so far, and then I resist that last little bit of shift or that last change within myself. This card here sort of aspires me to remember to just allow things to be sometimes, to sit in that acknowledgement, sit in the darkness. It's okay to be in that darkness for a moment. So I thought that was a really good card for me to really sort of look at on a deeper level. This one here, the Judgment, I love this. It's sort of like an awakening, and I really resonated with this. I mean, I looked at other judgments and I didn't really resonate as much as I resonated with this one here. I don't know why. It's about opening the heart to who I am as an individual. So I thought it was, and I know that I love some of these decks, and I like sort of getting quite deep. Like this one here, the Ace of Cups, when I look at this, it's about, what have I encapsulated within my journey, within my emotions? What's the value that I want to keep contained in my emotions? And what do I want to actually let go? So, little things like this. I mean, I go through these cards. This one here has reminded me, really takes me back 20 years really, this card, and I think of myself on my pagan journey, or my Wiccan journey, my witchcraft journey, and how I picked up Anne Mora's book 20 odd years ago, and I picked up the book in the library after searching for some answers within my own self. I read the first page and basically burst into tears, and not of sadness but of joy, because suddenly my life made sense. It just, with what, connecting with nature, respecting self, walking your talk, just everything sort of made sense to me on so many levels within myself. This connecting with the rhythms of the seasons and nature, and just being on so many levels, and just sitting in the silence and allowing your emotions to actually walk through. This card also reminds me at a time when my sister-in-law actually had been working with Debbie Ford, with the Debbie Ford Institute, with doing her yoga and her psychology and a few other courses and things like that. And there was a big aspect of it called facing your shadow self, working with your shadow self. And my sister-in-law Jenny did some interviews in New Zealand TV, and was doing a huge thing because she's got a huge coaching business here in New Zealand, and doing very, very well, of course. And anyway, she talked very strongly about acknowledging your shadow aspects of life, and it really resonated with me on so many levels. So this card really speaks to me of that. It just reminds me of those times when I walked in those shadow aspects and really acknowledged, hey, yeah, it's okay for me to be who I am and what I'm about. And that's the Moon card as well. It's a really big card for me to sort of sit with and really reflect and acknowledge and just be in that darkness and that silence and really acknowledge the emotions that I'm feeling at this time. And that's okay, whether that's frustration, anger because of some reason, or whether I'm feeling a little sad about something, or whatever I'm feeling, that's a-okay. And that's what this card, not everything's not all fluffy and bright and breezy all the time. There are times when we get peeved off about something, or we are frustrated, or we're feeling a bit sad because someone said something to us that is nasty, or that doesn't resonate in some way but just really hits us and says, that really makes us sad because of the way they've treated us or something. This card really reminds me to just sit in silence and just be in that darkness and face those conflicts within, whether you got that whole thing, well, maybe I've done something, or maybe I didn't, or maybe I caused it, or whatever. It allows me to sit in that silence and acknowledge how I'm actually feeling about the situation. So I love that with that, and I think this card speaks really well of that. I don't know why, but I think it's just amazing. It's just an amazing card. Again, this is an interesting one for the Ten of Wands. To me, this is a real sort of motherhood. Again, you've got that sort of motherhood, fertility, and I'm not talking just about being a mother, but also being a woman and embracing and nurturing the wholeness within myself, a sense of completeness before I move through into new levels. And I get a sense of like moving into the crone with this card. I don't know why. You've been this mother and suddenly you're moving into this crone energy. It's just incredible. I've got Three of Wands. It talks about connecting with your ancestors, and I just feel, for me, that's been a really big part of my journey. So I feel like I've rabbited on about the different cards that I've really resonated with, and the different aspects of the different cards, and how I've actually, as I went through different decks, and these are the 3 decks that I actually chose to sort of share with you, is there's so many things in life that we are given choices, and and what actions we take gets us to where we need to be at this time, whatever time that is. And I just love the different aspects of the cards, and I really feel myself moving through like this. Again, I just get this whole wanting to really remember to just look at the beautiful things in life. I know the Six of Wands is about victory and strife and things like that. But this card here, when I look at this energy and I see this woman looking at this bird just here, it reminds me to aspire to really look at the smallest things in life and appreciate. And I think sometimes we forget that. So this essence of this card really speaks loudly to where I want to be, what I want to do. The sense of just enjoying the journey, not worrying too much about where I get to. Doesn't matter what the end result is, it's all about where I am right now. That's all that's important. It's about what do I choose to do at this moment, and that's what I aspire to be at all times. I think that's really important for me. So that's me blabbering on about the different decks and the different cards that I've resonated with on different levels and what I aspire to be within myself. So even though that I resonate with being the matriarch of vessels, the nurturing, watery, can get emotional sometimes, even though I've learnt boundaries. Card, this whole remembering to be a person who really appreciates the journey along the way and just be in the moment. That's something I keep reminding myself to be, and this is a lifelong, I think, a lifelong path, is just to be the best I can possibly be in this moment. So the victory is what I am right now. What do I choose to be at this moment is my victory, is my success. As long as I choose to be the best I can possibly be, no matter what mistakes I've made in the past or what choices I've made in the past, it's all about what is now. So that's me. And my via to which card am I? Take care, blessed be, enjoy Tarathon, so I want to get this uploaded right now. Take care and have lots of fun. And I look forward to catching up with many of you on the lives. Yay!